All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. We're going to finish up now. We're not really finishing up. We're finishing up like this type of presentation for this lesson today. We're going to look at, we've talked about cells and then cells forming tissues. And now we're going to take it 2 steps further today. So we're going to start with this. We're going to start with an organ. So an organ is a structure made up of a collection of tissues. So it's a group of tissues that carries out or performs a specialized or special function or job. So if you think about like a team, like a football team, like each player has a job or a role. That's what we're talking about here. You know the organs that animals have: heart, brain, lungs, kidneys, stomachs, etc. Those are all made from specific or special tissues. All right. And again, if you remember back to the beginning of the week, there's 4 kinds of tissues: nervous, epithelial, connective, or muscle. All right. Plants, believe it or not, have organs as well: leaves, stems, and roots, just the 3 of them. But they are made up from specific tissues as well. All right. And the organs in a plant are made up of the 3 types of tissues in plants: protective, transport, or ground. Obviously, the protective is to protect the plant, transport is to move food and water around, and then ground is to keep it stable and provide what's necessary for photosynthesis. Really important question here. You're going to be seeing this more times than just today. How do organs relate to cells and tissues? Well, cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs. All right, so this is just all I want to look at here is a plant cell, okay? A group of cells makes these leaf tissues, which then makes the leaf. Okay, so now after organ, the next level up the system is what's called an organ system. And that's a group of organs that works together to perform something our body needs in order to stay alive. Okay, so there's 11 main systems, and we're going to look at a lot of those in the next few days, but just to name a few: muscular, digestive, circulatory, skeletal, nervous, okay? They all work together to keep the organism alive. Okay, so here is an example. We have the stomach muscle cell. A group of those makes the stomach muscle tissue. A group of that tissue makes your stomach. Quick little term here I want to talk about. We have a lot of muscles that are called voluntary, and you can control them. So that means your brain could say, okay, I'm going to walk over here or move my arm or whatever. We also have a lot of our body that's called involuntary. For instance, blinking your eyes, breathing, blood circulating, your stomach digesting food. So your stomach is involuntary. You cannot control how we digest our food. All right, so how is this structure, okay, how an organism is built compared to the function? Okay, as we know, cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems make up the organism. So the definition of structure, and this is a question you're going to have on the questions today, is the structure is the arrangement of parts in an organism or an object. So how something is built, basically. Okay, so then that structure, or how it is built, the structure of the cells and tissues and organs, determines the function or the job or the activity of each part in an organism. Okay, so the structure determines the function. All right, so for example, our lungs are made of these little teeny air sacs called alveoli. And what that does is make more surface area in our lungs so the oxygen and the carbon dioxide can move in and out between your lungs. These are lungs. That's not a good set of lungs, that is. Okay, in between the lungs and the blood. All right. So this question is, how are this alveoli, okay, these little sacs in your lungs, how are they built that relates to their job? Okay. Well, there's all these little alveoli, okay, so that allows a large surface area for the gas, the oxygen and CO2 to be exchanged. So, what task or what things do our organ systems do to meet the needs of all our cells in our bodies? Well, they need to receive nutrients. So, we want going back to carbs, lipids, and all that. Okay, so we need to take in nutrition. Okay, we have to exchange CO2 and oxygen. Remember, we need oxygen to breathe in. Plants provide that through photosynthesis. Okay, our circulatory system, our blood takes that oxygen all through the body. The cells exchange the oxygen, okay, the clean oxygen, for CO2 that's already been used. And that goes back out into our lungs and then back out. And then, of course, waste products have to be taken away. So unicellular organisms do all of that in their one cell. Okay. Again, things like humans and every animal that you can think of, dogs and cats and cows and deer, whatever, have multiple systems that have to work together to keep that particular organism alive. All right. Again, this is just real quick. This is how a plant's organs work together. So the xylem brings the water up through the roots, okay, to the leaves, so photosynthesis can take place. Then a thing called phloem takes the food made during photosynthesis back throughout the plant, okay? So the xylem brings the water up from the ground, and the phloem takes the food away. All right. And we're going to get into this later in a couple days. But our blood that is called oxygen rich, means it has a lot of oxygen in it. That is depicted as red here, and the blue has the CO2. So we're going to again look at that later. All right, we will stop there for now. You have some simple questions today, and then we will keep moving on tomorrow looking at the organ systems.